What up, Abba? And what up,
Hey, and
listeners? Welcome back to New Entry Wrestling Podcast, and I am tired.
oh yeah,
Oh
you must
my
be
God.
tired, man.
WrestleMania weekend was the shit. Philadelphia, WrestleMania 40 XL was fantastic. For those people that do not know yet, I went to WrestleMania.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
First one, right?
My first ever WrestleMania.
Nice.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like to say that, bro. Like just to say that I went to WrestleMania, it just feels like I still get goosebumps getting,
Cloud nine still, huh?
yeah, I'm still
You still got the honeymoon phase right now. Like, oh, I went.
basically I'm
Pretty
still in
soon
the
you're like, oh, I
honeymoon.
went to WrestleMania.
Yeah, that was my honeymoon. Honeymoon suite? Is that how you call it? Or what do you say it?
Honeymoon phase. Honeymoon phase.
Honeymoon?
You're like, honeymoon phase. You're like, yeah, because you
No,
just
no,
came out
no.
the
Yeah,
excitement
yeah,
of it.
yeah. But like you know how when people get married and they go on the honeymoon, right?
Yeah, just got honeymoon. Yeah,
Oh, that's how you
yeah,
say it. I never
yeah.
got married. I never made it that far. She called it off.
Oh damn.
So, anyways, um, that took a turn. But
Yeah.
yes, WrestleMania. Man. Come on, Ever, let's talk.
I know,
Let's,
right? But yeah, well, I'm gonna ask you a question because you actually were there in person. We both watched the show, but we watched it different perspectives. I watched it more like on television. You were there,
right.
so how was the vibe when you first got there, like to the stadium or to the arena, like or the
Mm,
stadium? How did you feel? Like, was the crowd up for it? You were there because I felt people say like the Philadelphia crowd wasn't that like night one was kind of like dead, like real, no,
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
yeah,
But go ahead. Like, let me know
yeah. So
what else do you want to know?
So no, the first question, like, what was the vibe for you? Like, a lot of people say, oh, night one was like, people were like, oh, why did like the crowd
Right.
wasn't Philly, like it wasn't like Chicago or, like, like when they went to the Clash of the Castle, like it wasn't like that
Mm.
energy. But I saw it was pretty good energy in the crowd. But like, you were there, so what did you think? Like when you were sitting there, like, was it like that kind of vibe, or was it the matches in night one where you were like, I don't know, I can see why people didn't feel it that much. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
first hand experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to hear all the questions because
Yeah.
like it's gonna be a long
Oh, yeah,
answer.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I
Yeah.
wanted you to get the questions out. Uh so for me, for I gotta start off by saying like because I who I took, and you saw the TikTok, you know how I went to Chasers
Yeah.
like 20 years ago. So, I went with my best friend Junior. So my childhood best friend. So it's like we've been best friends for like over 25 years.
Wow.
Like that's my memory. You know what I mean? But to
Yeah.
his memory, we've been friends for like 28 years.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Because he's
Yeah.
older than me. So he has like
Yeah.
a better memory than I
Yeah.
do. So um why am I throwing a blank now? So when I told him that we're going to WrestleMania, he was like in shock. Because it's one of those things where it's like, okay, cool, we're going to WrestleMania, and it's like, oh, we're going to WrestleMania,
Yeah.
and then and then like, okay, well, it's time to get in the car and drive to Philadelphia because he lives in Maryland. So it's like it didn't hit us yet until we saw the stadium,
Oh,
and
wow.
then we see the posters and the banners and the billboards. Then that's where it's like, are we really going to WrestleMania?
It's
Like,
surreal, right?
yeah, it took us a while. And then we got there and we waited in line, obviously. And then once we got in there, they opened the doors for the arena. We First off, we sat in the wrong section, right?
Oh, wow.
But it wasn't on us. The security was like, "Oh, you guys sit here." And we're like, all right, cool. We were sitting pretty good. Like, these are good seats.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm like, I don't think we're supposed to be here. But hey, whatever.
So made up there. Like,
I don't work here.
yeah,
I don't
not my
recall.
job.
Yeah, I don't work here. He said I sat here. I guess I'll sit here until somebody tells me to move, right?
Hmm.
But just walking in and seeing the stage, bro, because like again, like you seen the video, the camera does not do any justice. It was right there.
Wow.
And bro, like I didn't record right away because I wanted to soak it in.
Mm.
And dude, whatever you see on TV, it's not like it's way better in person. It's way better in person.
Oh yeah.
It just felt so unreal. Like, dude, I'm like, there's no way we're here. We're looking at the stage, right? So we got goosebumps. My friend Junior, he was just like, he thought he's like, it's a dream. It's like he's like, there's no way we're here. I'm
Like, are
like,
we
I feel,
actually are we back? Are we back in Maryland right now? Like we're
yeah,
like
I feel like
am I
I'm in
gonna
a
wake up?
coma or something.
Well,
I
yeah.
still feel like I'm in a coma.
Wow.
Like it's just it's unsurreal right now. Like I was speechless. We were speechless.
Wow.
You know, like and so when we sat down, maybe like 10 minutes go by. And because that's when I'm like uploading the TikTok video, what I made about the chaser bar and like the video that I recorded,
Yeah.
like that's what I was doing. So it took me about 15 minutes to do all that. Right. As soon as I was done, I uploaded it and all that. Dude comes and he's like, "Hey man, excuse me, I think you're accidentally sitting on our seat." And I was like, "Oh, my fault." As soon as he said that, right? I'm glad he said this next part because he said, "Yeah, we're 8 and 9," and I'm like, "Oh man, my bad. Wait a minute, you said 8 and 9? Nah, man, we 8 and 9." He's like 135. I was like, "Yeah, 135. I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Dude, security guy brought us here. So I'm like, there's a chance we may be in the wrong seat. Cause I'm telling you, we're close, you know? So he showed us a ticket and he's like, "Hey man, you're actually you're not, you're in the right area, but you're actually much closer." I was like,
Oh
ah.
wow.
I'm like, "Bro, you lie. Like, I don't believe you. You're just a fan like me. You don't work here." But I was like, "You know what?" He's like, "Yeah, bro. Like, I've been here before. Like, I've been to the Philadelphia game before. Like, or whatever. Or he didn't say Philadelphia game, or maybe he did, but he just said that I've been here before. You sit right there." I was like, "Okay." And I was like telling Junior, "Let's go." Apparently, security brought us to the wrong seat. And I'm like, "Man, I'm trying to find a security to make sure." Cause I don't, and then I realized there ain't no security in that section that he told us that we were going to be in. So I was like, "Okay." Uh, and then I looked and then it had like it said 135R.
Oh wow.
And
R.
I was like, R. And I looked and I was like, "Oh, wait, there is a R here." I was like, "Hey, yo, I think we sit there." So we got closer to the stage.
What?
So the video of where it shows the Chaser Sports Bar and the video following saying that, oh,
You
20 years later, I'm
yeah.
at WrestleMania, those were my wrong seats.
Wow.
So we were actually way closer than we were.
Wow.
That again, once again, I have another video and photos where we were actually sitting. And again, the camera does no justice. Like I literally could jump over the barricade and touch the stage.
Wow.
Yeah, like that's how close we were. And I was just like, man. It was a little bummed out because that side was more about the entrance than it
Yeah.
was the action. I mean, we still got a good amount of action, but like if they were more closer to I don't know, like so like let's say they're going down the ramp side, right? If
Yeah.
they were on the right side of the ring, it was difficult to see them. But if they were in the left side, it was easier for us to see.
Mm.
So it kind of sucked in the ladder match, you know,
Yeah.
because but like when they were on the where like the ramp side, it was easier to see and all that stuff.
Okay.
But again, we were near the entrance.
Yeah. It's
Like
pretty far.
that
You can
was
see them walking down. Like
exactly,
you
yeah.
saw Scarlet. You saw no, that was night
No,
two.
that was night two, yeah.
But you see Jay Cargill like
Rhea
with their
Ripley's
entrance.
entrance, yeah, Becky, The Rock's entrance, Roman Reigns, and then Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, they fought on the in the ramp. So we
Yeah.
got to see that part. So that was pretty awesome.
Nice.
So we got to see, so basically WrestleMania night one, it was all about the entrance. And obviously we saw the action during like on the monitors and stuff.
Yeah.
And we were able to see it on the ring here and there.
Yeah.
So hold on. I feel like there's an issue with my thought there was an issue with my mic. Do I sound okay?
Yeah. You sound good.
Okay. All right. Hope so.
Yeah.
Hold on, hold on. Let me do a test run. Testing, testing.
1-2, 1-2.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm good. It better be. Snap. I'm not editing this part.
No. Oh well.
Oh well. Anyways, so yeah, and then after the match that we got to see the Rock hitting the rock bottom of Cody Rhodes and the people's elbow and like because we never thought we were gonna see the Rock,
Yeah.
wrestle.
Well, he's gonna be there, but you never thought you would actually experience that. Like,
No, no,
oh,
no, 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 no. It was that part, like just ever, like in general, as a
yeah,
fan, never
yeah.
thought I would see The Rock wrestle live. Pay-per-view I knew, but to say I saw him live,
At
like
WrestleMania, no
at
less.
WrestleMania, I was just like, bro, this is so crazy. And then WrestleMania night two, it
Well,
was
let's for
oh
night
god.
one. Night one, we now since we're talking about night one, let's talk about the matches from night one, and then
Okay,
we'll talk about your experience from night two, and then we'll talk about the matches. So we just kind of do night one and night two, so we
I
just
got
kind
you.
of keep the flow.
I
But yeah,
got you.
so for night one, we had remind me the matches. We had um the first
Opening
match.
match was Rhea Ripley and Becky. What's your rate on that match?
I thought it was like I don't know. It felt good, but at the same time felt like it could be more. So I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5.
So it felt kind of flat for you.
Yeah, like I think I expected more, especially with Rhea, like her reign. Like I said, we talked about her reign for so long.
Mhm.
This year's been kind of mediocre for her reign. So I thought
Right.
this was gonna be a thing where like, oh, okay, she's turning a new leaf where it's gonna be like different. But I felt
Mm,
like it was kind of getting there, but at the same time. Well, I chose Becky to win because okay, she could finally, Rhea could finally like focus on something else or calibrate and become,
right.
make her title reign more significant. And Becky will bring legitimacy to that title too, because it's a new title tech. No, not really, but you know what I mean. So I thought it was a 3.5 out of 5 because it could have been way better.
What about out of 10?
Out of 10, probably like a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, it has moments, but at the same time, it could have been better, with some of the parts and no
Now,
outcome too.
I gotta ask you a serious question.
Yeah.
Now, is this bell to bell or is this from both ladies' entrances?
Like entrances?
Yeah.
I see bell to bell.
Okay.
I'm going based on the match. I think the
Mm.
entrances are fire because it's WrestleMania, but at the same time, like the entrances are really great and the matches are mediocre. I'm like, well, I came to watch the match. I want
Yeah. I felt like the match was um it was good, but it felt kind of flat. The only reason why I feel like it was kind of flat because it was the same week where you know how Becky, I forgot that guy's name who interviewed Rhea Ripley, Cody Rhodes, and
Ariel
CM Punk.
Hawani.
Him, you know how Becky showed up,
Yeah.
interfere, and because like, oh, you mentioned my kid and blah blah blah. Because
Wow.
of that, that's what made it flat for me.
Mm,
Because it was just like, how are you gonna show up and interfere somebody's interview and then say, oh, don't mention my kid, and then oh, we're gonna go out there and have a wrestling match. You know how I
yeah.
feel about that. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Like
So
it wasn't like she didn't attack her or anything. Like oh she didn't like get her in the ramp or she threw her
yeah,
in the crowd or nothing. It was just kind of like oh let's have a match 1-on-1.
you're right. So if it wasn't for like, if you would have, that moment would have not happened, then I would have been like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna give it like a
Mm,
solid 8. But because it was like, oh, you had just had a regular wrestling match
yeah.
after that. I'm thinking like it's gonna be like the Rock and Stone Cold kind of style match.
Yeah.
And no, it wasn't. It was just a regular wrestling match,
Mm,
and I didn't even really like the ending. But here's the other thing: I experienced it live,
mm-hmm,
so I was able to feel the emotion with the crowd.
mm-hmm,
So I
mm-hmm.
feel like when I watched it back on television on Peacock, I would give it a 6. But because I was there live, I gotta give it an 8.
So like 7, just like in
That
like
so like
average.
yeah, so average 7.
Yeah, because I think the build up was good, but like you said, like the build up it was flat because you thought the build up was gonna make it seem like 10-star match or a 5-star match,
Mhm.
and then it came like we both said it was like I think both said 7 out of 10 on that. So we're like, yeah, it could have been better.
You do know the day of recording, Rhea Ripley is a week away from breaking Bailey's record
Wow.
for longest reign. Bailey is 380 days, and day of recording, Rhea Ripley is 372 days.
So
She's going to break it.
yeah, it
Yeah.
feels like they're trying to break everybody's reign now. Like everybody's reigns are breaking.
It's time for the new generation.
Yeah. Okay, so we both said 7 out of 10 for that. So the next match was
The
what was the
ladder
next?
match.
The ladder match, 6-way, right?
That that match was fantastic. Live and back on watching it, the replay of it, I'm gonna give it a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8 out of 10 too because I think for me it felt good that we got new champions. Like both titles got split, so I thought that was
True.
pretty fire.
Who called it?
Yeah, you did.
Who
But
I
I mean,
called
but
it.
I also I think I put it on our Instagram where I said like hopefully they redesign the titles like how they did it with the
Mm.
women's titles where they just in the men's title they
Oh.
didn't make it
Oh, okay. Yeah,
like
yeah,
they
yeah.
didn't
You're
make
right.
it a
You're right.
SmackDown Raw, Raw, SmackDown women's title and a Raw. They made it just the World Heavyweight and the WWE. So I think for the tag team titles, you should do the same thing. Especially if
Mhm.
it's weird if you have the Raw tag team champions on SmackDown and vice versa. It's like just make the SmackDown titles. I don't know which one's the original ones. Which one's the original titles? Which ones are
Uh,
older? Probably it's Raw, right? I think Raws are older.
so Raw. Okay, bear with me. Okay. SmackDown tag team titles is the titles that they brought in 2016.
Okay.
So the first ever tag team champions, Rhino and Heath. Was
Okay.
it?
Ryan
Was that?
Heath there?
Yeah, was it them?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And then for the Raw tag team titles is actually the first ever SmackDown tag team titles. The one that Edge and Rey Mysterio won.
Okay. So the
Yeah.
original titles from like the World Tag Team titles, those that never carried out on a
No,
lineage,
that
right?
they yeah, that's stopped.
Wow, they snooze on that. But you know what I mean? They should like that's what I said. Like make the Raw Tag Team
No,
titles
wait, the
into.
first tag team was actually Kurt Angle and Benoit,
Oh, okay.
not Edge and Rey Mysterio.
I think they won it from them. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from them and then those Los Guerreros.
So yeah, that's what I was saying in the Instagram or the short, like where like they should just rename the titles now. Make it the
Yeah.
World Tag Team titles and the WWE Tag Team titles, and just
I
keep it
mean, nothing.
separate.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the SmackDown on Raw. To be honest,
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that it's obvious that it's SmackDown and Raw.
Yeah, like
You
the
know,
color scheme.
right? Because what's the point? If you're gonna keep it, like, let's just say they keep the titles as is,
Yeah.
then that's fine. Just change the name, right?
Yeah.
But if you're gonna add SmackDown and Raw, then why do you need the colors?
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious who they go to. So either use one or the other. Don't use both.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, like I'm happy with the outcome, and like I said, watching the replay and being there live, I'm gonna give it a solid 8.
Yeah, I think that's an 8 out of 10. I think for me, I got a better rating because they actually split the titles. It wasn't like no more
Yeah,
because there's so many factions
and
that's
then the
like,
people who
s-
won them deserve them.
yeah. Well, I don't know about theory. I thought I
Yeah,
was gonna,
they've been doing good work.
yeah. But
They've been
I
doing
would
good work.
for that I would have had like DIY or because Awesome Truth we did select, but so
Mhm.
technically, if you were point system, I'll give it. We got a point five on that because of the awesome truth. But the other, I didn't know they're gonna. We knew you knew they're gonna split them, but we don't know who the other champions are gonna be.
I did. I said
Yeah.
awesome A
Oh,
town
you said
down
okay, so you got a full point
and
then if that
yeah
counted. If you did that,
and awesome truth. Yeah. I got a full point on that.
nice.
And I called the whole splitting the titles.
That
I
was
felt
yeah,
like
because
if
they
they
needed that.
yeah, I knew that was gonna happen.
Because they have so many tag teams that it's impossible to have. It's like how we'll talk about the night two, but like it's impossible to keep two titles like you know just keep the two titles
Yeah.
separate. Now you have a whole new set of factions on SmackDown and new factions on Raw. You got Imperium on Raw. You got DIY on Raw. You got now
You got
Theory
NXT,
NXT
so
teams. Now you got
yeah.
the Creed brothers. You got Viking Raiders when the other guy comes back. You got
And then
other team.
they could always start a new faction like the Judgment
Yeah,
Day. You know what I
yeah,
mean? You could always get a bunch of guys like, Bobby Lashley and Street Profit. I mean, they don't have I mean, obviously Street Profit will win the titles, but it's just eventually you could add somebody else,
yeah,
maybe Omos, and then Bobby Lashley and Omos could win the titles.
yeah.
So
More versatility, more work for everybody
yeah.
too. It makes it more better. But yeah, okay. So we both are agreeing on most of these so far.
So up next was Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. No, Rey Mysterio teaming up with Andrade against Santos Escobar and Dirty Dominic Mysterio in a tag team match. This
Hmm.
match was fun. It was entertaining. It was a filler match. I personally believe it should have been a one-on-one Rey Mysterio versus Dominic. It was shocking that Dominic lost. I
Yeah,
knew they were going to lose as soon as I found out they were being sponsored by Minute Maid, and
Minute Maid,
I was just
the
like,
hard
oh,
fresca, la frescas.
yeah. So I was like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, Rey Mysterio is
No,
gonna go
yeah,
over.
okay. Well, I thought they were gonna win when Andrade was added to the match. I'm like
That's
Andrade. They would,
yeah,
yeah,
to make him look strong.
and also because like, oh, he just came back. Let's make the AW or WWE guy turn AEW guy back to WWE guy. Win a match.
Right.
That's what I knew. Like, oh, they're gonna win.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think about it that way.
What do you think overall? Because it was a lucha libre match. Because everybody was a luchador, pretty much.
Yeah,
You know.
pretty much.
But
Dominic
what
is
I
a
wish they
luchador.
did instead, I wish it was a faction versus faction. Yeah,
Yeah,
because you had both ladies. You had Zelina Vega and Elektra Lopez. You had the tag
everybody
team that.
was in gear except for
Yeah,
Carlitos.
yeah. That was kind of odd, right? I'm like, huh?
Everybody thought he was gonna turn heel that night, but he didn't.
Yeah.
And
Cause
shout
he,
out to those Philadelphia Eagles. I don't
yeah,
know. I
yeah.
guess the
Well,
ones that
Jason Kelsey
interfere.
and Lane Johnson. Well, Jason Kelsey retired this
But
past season.
are they from the Philadelphia
Yeah, from the
Eagles?
Eagles. Yeah, from
Okay.
the football team.
I
Yeah. But you know what I
don't
mean?
even.
I wish it was a four on. I wish it was a faction versus faction. You would have had Rey Mysterio, Andrade, Cruz El Toro, Joaquin Phoenix, and Zelina Vega. You would have had Dominic, Santos, Humberto, Angel, and Elektra. 5 on 5. It would have been pretty fire. I mean, they
Yeah.
interfered, but it would have been pretty cool if they were like 5 on 5.
Yeah, no, that was the weird part. I thought that's why when Mary Mysterio came out that one SmackDown to announce the tag team match, I was just like, wait, tag team? I'm like, okay. And then he brought out Dragon Lee, and I was just like, oh, this is a tag team match. Because I'm
Yeah,
like, it still hasn't registered me. I was like, why are you making that tag team match? Acting like there's not three other guys behind you,
yeah.
you
There's three
know?
other people on your team. Like you have Carlito, you have
Yeah.
Joaquin, you have
And then
Cruz.
JD McDonough could have been added. I mean, I know it would have not, it would have been awkward, but it's like the
Why?
Judgment Day and Santos group could have they could have been it could have been a 5-on-5.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking. Like, oh, because JD don't have anything,
yeah.
maybe it's gonna turn into that, but it's like, no, they're gonna have a tag team match. So, but it was a fun match. I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10. It wasn't a bad match. It was just a fun match. I
Uh,
just did, yeah, it was just weird. It was just like they had this serious build up and it just became a fun match.
yeah. I give it a 6 out of 10.
All right. I mean,
It,
that's not a
it
bad
it was a
rating.
lot. Yeah, it was a lot. They need a lot of work. I mean, obviously the outcome I liked, but it's kind of weird they added the football players as the outcome. I didn't get because it was in Philadelphia. They wanted to do that, but like it was totally out of place, to have those two guys
Yeah.
like part of that. Like, why don't you just let your actual wrestlers, finish the match? Let Joaquin and Cruz have their WrestleMania moment, or Zelina do low blow or something not heel, but you know what I mean, something.
Mhm.
They did have the
I think
WrestleMania moment.
Zelina did do something in the match, right?
She like punched. I think she knocked out Electra, and then Joaquin did that springboard thing. But like in
Mm.
the match, I mean, I wish they had the outcome in the match where they like they tripped or they did something. That would have been. I mean, it was pretty fun. Oh, you have two Philadelphia Eagle players
I
in there, but
yeah,
like these are wrestlers.
you know how the what's it called, the Street Profit or the Pride and the Final Testament
Yeah,
had a street fight. I feel like that match could have been a street fight.
yeah,
It
that
could
could
have
have
You
been.
could have had those two wrestle each other, but then make it like a false count anywhere street fight,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
Or it could have been like it could have ended a no contest, like everybody interfere and then Nick Aldis comes out and be like, "Oh, we're gonna have a 5-on-5 match or
Yeah.
whatever."
I don't know if they were short on time or whatever, but
I'm pretty sure
they could have done
I'm
that.
pretty
Yeah,
sure that's what it was.
yeah.
But I will say the highlight of that match for me was when Rey Mysterio was on top on Andrade and they both did that
Oh yeah, that
crossbody.
was sweet.
That was a
That was
sweet
pretty
moment.
sweet. Yeah,
That was a sweet moment. So all right, let's move on to the worst match at WrestleMania history. Jay
worst.
Uso versus Jimmy Uso. I will say this. One, I thought Jimmy was going to win. So Jay broke the streak. You know, it was two heels that won brother versus brother matches at WrestleMania, and then Jay broke that curse. He's the first babyface to win. And also they made history by being the worst match in WrestleMania history. And
Really.
did you enjoy that match?
I thought it was okay, but like, yeah, it has a lot of potential. Like
The story
for
did.
all the build up,
Yeah.
yeah, the story saved it pretty much. But like all that build up for like from whenever they turn heel on Roman and then they turn on each other, yeah, it felt kind of flat. I don't even feel like even if Solo interfered and helped, that would have been like the other brother in there.
Yeah,
But
you would. I feel like no. What was weird is this is another match where it was like they're not Bret Hart and Owen.
no,
You would think this match would be a no disqualification match or no,
no
bloodline
bars, yeah,
rules,
yeah,
something. It was just like a super kick party,
yeah,
and it was just like it felt very was like it was cool to see and to watch. Watching it, the replay, I gotta give it a 3.
wow, you went. Woo.
Yeah, and then watching it live, I'm giving it was a 5.
So what, like a 4 for you overall? Four
I'm gonna
point
stick
five
with 5 overall.
five. Yeah,
Because the video package, because here's the thing, like if I'm gonna experience it live, with you watching that video package gave me goosebumps.
mm,
And then Jay Uso coming out, Jimmy Uso coming out, doing this with Jay,
yeah,
getting money. And then Jimmy coming out, and then Jimmy got that, that
swag.
that swag. I
Yeah,
dislocated my shoulder by doing that. So, but yeah, the match started off good. It was just a super kick, no sell.
yeah.
It was just like that was just it could have been so much better. I don't know why they decided to go that route,
Maybe
but
trying to
they did.
save their energy for night two or something, but at the same time, it could have been like for the story they had and anticipation of it. Yeah, it felt flat.
Yeah. I feel like maybe it was
And they're both talented guys too, which is crazy.
I feel like to them it was just more to have this moment,
Yeah,
not to like steal the show. Cause it's like unless they already know, like, ain't nobody, we're not gonna steal the show,
yeah,
and it's like unless what if they tried to do it on purpose? Like, hey, you know what? Let's go out there and be the worst match in WrestleMania history.
wow. I don't.
I
Yeah,
would do that if I already know, like, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna have a good match with this person. Hey, let's go out there and make history. It's WrestleMania. It's either we have a good match that people are gonna forget about us, or we could have the worst match in history and people are gonna remember that.
yeah.
So,
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying they did that on purpose, but I mean, I would. Um, what was your rate?
A 5. I agree. It has
Okay.
so much potential. The storyline would have been way better. The storyline pretty much saved. If it wasn't for the storyline, I'd probably give it a three, like overall.
Mm.
But the storyline saved it a little bit, but it just fell flat in the execution of the storyline. I mean, the story's not over; it's probably going to continue. But at the same time, it's like, well, it was WrestleMania. You could have got at least gotten a 7 or 8. A lot of potential to go up to like the next pay per view or next
I was
PLE, whatever.
expecting more like rock bottom, spear, Superman
False
punch,
finishes and all that.
Umaga's finisher. Yeah, false finishers,
Solo
uh
come out and accidentally attack Jimmy, and that's a kind of another storyline in the future. But no, he was Solo was
he wasn't even
he was
around.
he was around tonight too. I'm like, really? You didn't even want to
Yeah.
interfere in the other match? I'm like, where's Solo? You know?
All right, so let's go on. Six woman tag team match. Jade Cargill. Oh my gosh, she was so hot. Bianca Belair, Naomi, Damage Control. This was a fun match. Jade Cargill got the W for her team. And I'm gonna give this, I'm gonna give it a solid 6. It was good. It was a good match. It felt pretty short. Obviously, because this is just one of those, it was a filler match. And all I saw was AEW, WWE, and TNA,
Hmm.
So, and I just, even watching the replay, it was like a 6.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7. I think the only thing that made it better was like the team itself too is pretty fire.
Yeah,
Nick,
it was just like a kind of, I don't want to say a dream match, but it was just like I'm excited for this match because it's just something like it's very unusual to see something like this.
yeah, it's like the
And
top woman in AEW, the top woman in WWE, and the top woman of TNA.
mhm,
For like they both had their moments in the top.
right.
Obviously, there's still. I mean, Bianca's not like not the top, but like you pretty much had those three women. You
She's the
know,
one that you want to face, basically.
yeah.
Basically, she's like the John Cena for the women's division.
Hopefully they build for next year where it's Jay Cargo versus Bianca Belair, because that's people that obviously they compared each other. People be like, oh wow, why them two, right?
Right.
There's a reason why they, because but there's like, remember when Jay Cargo was in AEW, like, oh, she's the equivalent of Bianca in
Mm.
WWE. She's that person. The lady, the woman,
Yeah.
but now it's like they're both on the same team, which is surreal. And then Trinity or Naomi had her time in TNA as the champion, and she came in. So it's kind of like nice to actually bring that together, like all three of them. But let's see what happens from here. Like I want to see like next year's WrestleMania. Like, are they gonna turn on each other? Be like,
I
like
feel
that kind of
like
stuff.
that would be the perfect time. I think that I feel like Bianca and Jay Cargill, I feel like they could run this for a long time. Like they
Yeah,
could be tag team champions. They could be like, they could work together, you know. Bianca, like they could do something like what Io and Bailey did. They
yeah,
could work together. And then once, Bianca Belair could help, what's it called, Jay Cargill to win the title, or Bianca could win the title around Royal Rumble time,
next
or
year
or yeah, like next year.
or two
Like,
years even. Keep it a year or two.
not, I
Like,
wouldn't say that.
nah,
Well,
not too
here,
long.
this is what I was gonna say. If Bianca wins the title back at the Royal Rumble, Jade
Mhm.
Cargill could win the Royal Rumble and do
Ooh,
something
okay.
where it's like, oh, I'm gonna go after this person, and
Like, no, I want you.
then I no, yeah, and then go after Bianca
Mhm.
instead. And that's where I would say have her turn heel, or you could have her turn heel at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
So that's where I feel like that's when be the perfect time for Jay Cargill to turn heel. I feel like don't do it too soon.
yeah,
Like have her build up because it's easier to build up babyface star. It's easier than trying to build up a heel because you got to get them to hate you.
yeah, mm,
So I would say build her up like a Bailey. Not like, how Bailey was a babyface for a long time. And then when she finally turned heel, it was like, whoa, what are you doing?
yeah.
Like do something like that. Did you give your rate already for this
A
match?
7 out of
7?
10.
Okay. Up next, I'm very interested what you got to say about this match. Sami Zayn versus Gunther. What was your thoughts on that match?
I thought it was amazing.
It
I
was
mean,
amazing.
the outcome. I wish the reign continued, but the way. it ended was amazing. It was a match. That was a match. That pretty much saved. I think, honestly, for me, unfortunately, it saved WrestleMania Night One for me. This
Wow.
match, it did. I know
Wow.
I chose Gunther to win it all, but
Hmm.
I was not sad when Sami Zayn won, especially when he did the Brain Buster, not the Brain Buster. Like El
Brainbuster!
Generico, he went old school, El Generico style. Brain Buster, huluva kick, boom. That's the only way to take out Gunther. Make him look strong too. Like you have to use
Yeah.
this deadly move to knock out Gunther. So make Gunther look strong at the end,
Do you
Two at the
think that he should have ended it with the brainbuster?
no, because you still wanna. It's obviously that's what he used back then, but like the huluva kick is like his finisher. He
Right.
needed two of them technically, right? He used two. Yeah, he did use
I feel
two.
like it should have been just one because
Just
it
one.
just made the brainbuster look weak.
No, it still made it look strong. It kind
But
of
the fact
but
that you have to still hit two of your finishers right after that,
but it's Gunther though. It's like
that's true.
you have to be super like so like to
Yeah,
beat
because
somebody like that.
you're breaking his streak too.
And he's like Gunther,
Yeah.
he's the impossible guy to beat. He's been what NXT UK title was like 800 days plus. This is 600 days plus. Like you have to do something crazy to like knock him out. You have to do two of your kicks and huluva kicks or finishers to finish him off. If you do a one finisher, you're like, oh, okay, so all that work, he finished off with one finisher. Like that's what we talk about night two later. Like you need to do
I've
multiple finishers to finish
right.
the champion.
No, that's true. I agree with that. I just because when I saw that Brainbuster, because again, like I'm a El Genetical fan, right?
Mhm.
Ring of Honor days, and then when I saw that, I guess the kid, like the guy from back then, was like, cover him, you
Yeah.
know. But no, that he went for those two kicks, it was cool and all that. But I felt like the last kick felt flat for me. Like it
Mm.
felt like,
He
oh,
didn't
that's
have
a
to do it.
no, no, no. It felt like it felt like a kick out kind of kick.
Uh,
It was like so, but when he got that three, I was just like, oh, okay, yay, you know. But yeah,
and
no, that was a great feeling though that
yeah,
he won. The only thing was, what's it called? He won the IC title before.
yeah.
That was the
But he
only
needed
thing.
something though. He needed it
Yeah, he did. He did needed
because
a big win. He
because
did
he
needed a
kind of
big
he
win.
did it. He main evented WrestleMania last year in a tag team, and
Yeah.
they ended the Uso streak. So it's like he's the streak
Mm,
killer. Like that's be his gimmick. Like I'm the streak killer. Like if you have a streak, I'm gonna end it. And he
yeah,
did that 2 years in a
WrestleMania.
row. But because I think the Brainbuster, if you actually see the Brainbuster, he did it like PG, like Dirty V style. But if he did the El Generico, he would have hit straight down. He hit the corner a little bit. If you noticed that, like
Mm.
when he did the Brainbuster in Ring of Honor, or whatever, he went straight into the ring. Like
Well,
to the top.
that was because the guys that
Gunther strong.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
and taller than him. So
yeah,
you got to understand that part.
yeah.
I remember you got to see the one, you got to look back at the ones
It's
that
like,
he used to do at
wow.
Kevin Owens.
Oh
Kevin
my
Owens,
god.
yeah, it was just like because he was bigger back then. So he would just like drop right on the turnbuckle.
Bang, like straight down onto like almost a spike.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So, but he obviously he tries to protect them, but because of the weight, sometimes it can be a challenge for them.
yeah.
And it's going back to Sammy, it's crazy because WrestleMania 38, he was in a match with Johnny Knoxville,
Johnny Knoxville. So it's kind of like they kind of owed him. Like, yeah, I had a match with Johnny Knoxville. Next one, I won the tag team titles, defeated the streak. Then the
main
next one,
event. Yeah.
yeah, and then next one, I won the IC title. I broke a 666-day streak and won the IC title from a guy that was unbeatable for almost 2 years.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like progression. Next WrestleMania, who knows? He might win the World Heavyweight title. We don't know.
Kevin Owens is probably next because he was in a match with Logan Paul.
Yeah, that's probably like giving their dude and like, okay, well, you did us good last WrestleMania. We'll do you good this WrestleMania.
Now, oh no, wait for the
Oh, rating. Hmm.
Sammy and Gunther. Mm, I'm gonna go with 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree with that.
9 out of 10. I felt like if I felt like the last hula kick was flat.
Mm.
It made it, and I at the time I felt I'm like At the time, I felt like it was unnecessary because again, that was me being the old Ring of Honor fan.
Yeah,
Like, oh, you should have finished it with the brain buster, you know? And but now going to your point, it's like, okay. But regardless, I still give it a 9 out of 10 at that
yeah,
time,
yeah.
you know. So yeah, yeah. So I'm happy with it that night. And then with the crowd, bro, the crowd went crazy.
I know, right?
Dude. Oh, and then because we were by the stage, we got to see what's it called? Sammy's wife walking towards the front. Right,
Oh, nice.
so yeah, that was pretty cool. We also got to see Bruce Pritchard as well.
Oh, nice.
So all right. Main event for WrestleMania Night 1, the Bloodline, The Rock, and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins to determine if it's going to be a one-on-one match against Roman Reigns or it's going to be under Bloodline rules for WrestleMania Night 2. And all I got to say about before even the match started, my dad found out that The Rock was coming back and he wanted to see this match. So
Wow.
unfortunately, I wasn't gonna be here, you
Yeah.
know. So I had to tell my sister
Uh-huh.
come through over here so that way they could watch WrestleMania. And so my parents got to see my mom got to see the whole WrestleMania card show. And also my dad, he saw a little bit of the beginning and then he came back for the main event and they both got to see The Rock teaming
Yeah.
up with Roman and they got to see The Rock wrestle. The last time they saw The Rock wrestle was back in like 2002,
Wow.
you know? So, um, yeah, like, dude, like the fact that they got my parents, I mean, I got to experience WrestleMania, but the fact that I could have watched it with my parents, that would have been awesome too.
Yeah.
But like, at least that's something like my sister could cherish, you know? So, but the fact that The Rock got my parents to sit down to watch WrestleMania, I mean, come on. Like, I don't even know what to say, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like that alone is like, how can you say it's a bad match? Even if it was a bad match, who cares? Like that's how mainstream and like how like The Rock is WWE. The
Yeah.
Rock is the reason why I was watching. Well, The Rock and Triple H is the reason why, you know, I got into wrestling. Oh, and then Triple H opened up the show. How did I forget about that? I
Yeah. Right.
finally, you know, I mean, I still haven't seen Triple H wrestle live. Um, but like I got to see him come out, you know, and it was just a great experience, right? And then the match itself, the Rock's entrance, awesome. Roman Reigns, awesome. Cody Rhodes, awesome. Seth freaking Rollins, awesome. The whole match itself. It started off a little flat, but obviously they were just trying to build it up, trying to
It was
build up the
most it
match.
was like a 40-minute. How long was the match? Like 30
Dude,
minutes?
it felt only 20 minutes.
Wow.
But that match, when I found out that match was 44 minutes, I was like, how? Where? It felt like I'm thinking like, nah, it's 20, 22, 23 minutes. It can't be no more than 25. It was no maybe. And then they're like 44 minutes. I was like, oh, maybe including the entrance and after. No, it's like the bell to bell was
A match.
44 minutes.
Wow. So it's probably like an hour total then.
Yeah.
Because
I
just
don't know
Seth
how
Rollins' entrance
accurate.
alone is like he could go forever with the
Roman's
oh
entrance was pretty short. I think the only person who had the long entrance was The Rock.
oh yeah, he's the Rock, yeah.
Yeah, he was the only one I felt like, okay, he taking forever.
Because the
But like we
music
were
played and then
still,
he was out there, then the fire thing, and he stayed there, then he went down and he did the
dude, hearing The Rock entrance like finally live was the best experience ever. And again, like goosebumps, and he's right there, walking out. Dude, it was crazy. And then you know how he has that new final boss theme version,
yeah.
It was just so unsurreal. Like, bro, like it was just like there's no way we're watching The Rock right now. Like, I know this match was it's like we've been knowing this match happening, and it was just like, wow. and the match, the rock bottom, the Cody Rhodes, the getting hit with the belt, the Roman hitting the Rock with the spear, accidentally hitting him with the spear, his face expression, the that was hilarious. Everybody was laughing. We were all dying. We were all had a good time. And that match, I don't care what anybody says, 10 out of 10. You were in there live. If you were there live and you still think that match was anything less than 10 out of 10, man, you crazy. You're crazy because my whole section, we were going crazy over that. Shout out to 135R, man. You guys were fantastic. I ain't gonna lie. I was the funny guy in my group.
Yeah,
I was making people laugh. There was some funny people out there too, but we all had a good time. What was your thoughts of that match
I thought it was
and your
amazing.
rate?
I gave it a 10 out of 10 too. Like, I think definitely the Gunther and Zayn match and this match saved WrestleMania Night 1 for me. Like, the other ones were good, but like these two matches were the best. And obviously the storyline, that's what you wanted. You want the storyline to come through. Obviously, we kind of knew The Rock was gonna win because you kind of wanted that
Mhm.
like impossible feat to be done for night two. But The Rock finished the match with the People's Elbow, which was fire too. I like how it ended. You know, I mean, especially he pinned Cody Rhodes. I was shocked by that. I thought,
I was
no,
not shocked by that. I was not shocked by the fact that he pinned Cody Rhodes. What was surprising for me, what was shocking, when Roman hit Cody the spear and he tagged, like, the Rock wanted to tag and the Rock was like, "Oh, I got you." I'm thinking like, no, man, I want him. But then I guess he was like, oh yeah, no, I got you, cuz he tagged them in. That shocked me the most. Like I'm thinking like, oh, there's gonna be a little like maybe maybe he a little ego stroke because it's like, oh,
yeah,
I want to beat this guy twice
yeah,
you know, back to back. So technically, I would have pinned Cody Rhodes 3 times. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's what I'm thinking his mindset was gonna be. But now he looked at him. He's like, "I got you. It's done. Like it's done. Game over." Right? Boom, tagged. Rock bottom. He took his time with that rock bottom. The Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like this is it. Like a new era is about to begin. Boom, hit that rock bottom, and then the boom, people's elbow. Great storytelling, man. That's
yeah.
how not, no, what's it called? Overselling and stuff like that. Except for that rock spear and all that. But that's the rock though. That's how he
Yeah.
reacts. He always sells that
He's the
way.
one that does the flip when he gets stunned. Remember how he
Yeah,
like flipped? He's like,
he does the oversell and all that.
he uses his hands and he flips. He's like, ah, then he hits the rope. Like, oh, dude.
But it's like he does that for certain people though. It's not like he does that for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he makes the selling worth it and all that. But yeah, man, it was a great. So overall show, because I got to experience it live, man, I gotta give it a 9. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Overall
Overall.
show, yeah, because there was not one bad match besides the Jimmy and Jay Uso. Uh, it was just, but I think I gave it a 5, right?
Yeah, he gave it a 5.
Yeah. When I watched the replay, I was like, that was a 3.
Wow.
But I watched it live and it wasn't that bad because of the yeet and the no yeet chance. That's what made it fun.
Okay.
So yeah. So I like I said, and then going to your question, about how was the crowd reaction, how nobody was reacting, BS. Because there's no roof.
Yeah. It
So
was
that
cold too, right? It
it
was
was
freezing cold.
cold. It was cold. Yo, it was cold. But the crowd was hot. Everybody was reacting to everything. My section was everybody was awesome in my section. Everybody was having a good time. The crowd was going crazy. It was just two things. One, no roof, and two, delayed.
Oh, yeah.
That the delayed, that's basically all it is.
Yeah.
So the crowd was crazy. The crowd was amazing. And yeah, everybody was. into the show. Like even with the Jimmy and Jay, especially with the Yee, no
Hmm.
Yee, everybody was having a good time. So don't believe everything you see on television.
Oh yeah. All right.
What was your rate for WrestleMania?
I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I mean, that's not a bad score.
No, that's still pretty good.
All right, well, this wraps up part one of episode. What episode are we on? 192?
172.
172. Okay, only 172. Okay.
Yeah.
What did I say? 192. Oh,
192. Yeah.
all right. 172. This wraps up 172, part one. Or is it maybe the next one, WrestleMania Night 2, will be part, maybe it'll be episode what, 193 then.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, we'll go check that out. Doo doo doo.